Have you ever seen a celebrity lawsuit so tangled, so dramatic, and so downright explosive that it feels like a Hollywood thriller come to life? That's exactly where we find ourselves right now. But brace yourself. What you've heard is only the tip of a giant iceberg. In the last few weeks, we've watched this entire fiasco transform from a quiet legal dispute into a scorching hot mess filled with explosive leaked recordings, courtroom bombshells, and enough industry backstabbing to make your head spin. If you think you've seen everything Tinseltown has to offer, think again, because what's going down in Blake Lively's latest legal battle is rewriting the rulebook of how far power players will go to protect their image, and it's all happening under the harshest public spotlight imaginable. It started innocently enough. Two well-known figures in the industry, locked in a lawsuit that no one really understood. Whispers flew around that Blake Lively was overreaching, that maybe she and her team were seeking an alarming amount of private information. People shrugged it off, thinking there had to be some legal explanation. Yet as the details poured in, jaws dropped. 2 years of text messages, location data, and even intimate details like doctor's appointments. Blake's side wanted it all. It was a subpoena spree so massive it made onlookers wonder, why such a deep dive into every corner of someone's life? What exactly were they trying to find? But that wasn't the end of it. This legal face-off took a wild turn when a judge practically turned the courtroom into a roast session, smacking down those demands as not just intrusive, but downright nonsensical. Then came the meltdown rumors. Stories from people inside the courtroom claiming Blake was visibly furious, frantic, and possibly on the edge of unraveling. The real spark to this powder keg, though, was a leaked audio recording connecting some very big Hollywood power brokers to this entire fiasco, leaving everyone questioning what's real, what's spin, and whether the truth can ever be contained when you're facing a swirling media firestorm. And if that wasn't enough, Blake upped the ante by hiring a former CIA operative to do damage control. Now we're not just dealing with your typical showbiz PR games. We're watching a scenario that feels like it escaped from a spy movie script. Ready to see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Let's jump right in. The moment court documents went public, the internet was thrown into a frenzy. At first, it seemed like people were overreacting. Lawsuits happen in Hollywood all the time, and stars are known to have unique legal battles. But as soon as the official subpoenas were revealed, public sentiment shifted from mild curiosity to total disbelief. Imagine the judge's face when Blake Lively's team requested 2.5 years worth of private data from Baldoni. We're talking text logs, social media messages, phone call histories, and location pings so detailed they might as well have asked for the coordinates of his shoelaces. No matter how you slice it, that's a massive ask. Even in the most heated legal wars, it's rare to see such a sweeping request without a narrow target. Observers with legal expertise immediately labeled it an overreach, a fancy way of saying, what on earth are they thinking? Some suspected that Blake's team was fishing for anything that might tarnish Baldoni's credibility. Others theorized that a personal grudge was fueling the mania. And let's be real, it's one thing to dig for damaging texts, it's another to want a person's every move tracked, logged, and documented for over 2 years. But the real kicker is how this spectacle wasn't just hidden behind sealed court documents. The judge, unwilling to let such a jaw-dropping legal maneuver go unnoticed, put them on blast, right in open court. When news broke about how the judge rejected the request, calling it overly intrusive, the internet lit up. Memes circulated of a judge literally throwing papers over his shoulder with captions like, "When your subpoena is wilder than a Hollywood script." People were howling with laughter, but that laughter came mixed with a strange kind of unease. If a famous star like Blake was pulling these legal strings in such a brazen way, what else might be happening behind the scenes? And just when we thought we understood the scale of this drama, an audio leak surfaced, one that would shift the narrative from awkward lawsuit to full-blown Hollywood scandal. Picture this. You're a beloved actress known for your comedic timing and stylish red carpet appearances. Your public persona screams warm and approachable. Then, faced with a mushrooming legal crisis, you enlist the services of a former CIA deputy chief of staff to handle damage control. Sound like the plot of an action film? Possibly. But for Blake Lively, it's real life. Yes, you read that right. Nick Shapiro, an ex-CIA figure whose background in crisis management involves controlling high-profile narratives on a global scale, is now in Blake's corner. Talk about stepping up your PR game. Hiring a high-powered PR firm is standard in Hollywood. Everyone from reality stars to Academy Award winners does it. But going so far as to bring in an intelligence specialist? That's a move that's not just unusual, it's practically unprecedented. What's the logic here? One theory is that Blake was so spooked by the leak and the the judge's smackdown that she decided to pull out the biggest gun she could find. A professional, accustomed to handling affairs so controversial and sensitive that top government agencies would be involved. Another idea is that this is how the upper echelon of Hollywood really operates behind closed doors, and we're just now seeing it out in the open. Either way, fans and critics alike started tossing around words like overkill, paranoia, and secret ops. Conspiracy theories sprouted up across social media, with people joking about bugged phone lines and covert missions to sway public perception. Meanwhile, major outlets mysteriously began publishing pieces that painted Justin Baldoni in a less than flattering light. Right around the time Shapiro got involved, the correlation was too uncanny for many to ignore. Was it a legitimate coincidence, or was there a hand at play, orchestrating headlines to overshadow the newly leaked audio and the judge's criticism of Blake's legal demands? You might think a star of Blake Lively's caliber would have friends rushing in to defend her, or at least publicly side with her. After all, she's been in the industry for years, cultivated countless relationships, and built a brand on being the down-to-earth celebrity. Strange, then, that the usual suspects, fellow A-listers, longtime collaborators, even rumored besties, have been eerily silent. Not a single big name stepped forward with a supportive statement. Instead, they all watched from a distance, as though tiptoeing around a radioactive meltdown. What caused this sudden distancing? Some speculate that no one wants to get dragged into a high-stakes lawsuit, especially one featuring clandestine recordings and allegations of blacklisting. Others believe that the leaked audio is so damning, it made even close allies worry about being labeled complicit. In Hollywood, reputation is currency. Jumping to Blake's defense only to have new evidence paint her as the villain could do irreparable harm to a star's own image. But the bigger question is how this will impact Blake's career moving forward. Is she becoming that figure in Hollywood who's simply too dangerous to associate with? The swirling rumors, the meltdown in court, and the ex-CIA hiring are all fueling a narrative of desperation and manipulation. Meanwhile, Baldoni's side has gained quiet sympathy from those who see him as an underdog. After all, if someone as powerful as Ari Emanuel was behind your downfall, allegedly at the behest of a star couple, wouldn't you be viewed as a cautionary tale? They say one of the worst places to suffer humiliation is a courtroom, where every word is on the record and there's no escaping the transcripts. Blake Lively learned this the hard way. The judge's decision to broadcast audio from the next hearing was a masterstroke in forcing transparency. It's not every day we see a star of her magnitude forced to endure public scrutiny in real time. In the hearing that led up to this, the judge reportedly minced no words about the overbroad subpoenas. Calling them intrusive and disproportionate was the polite legalese way of saying they were completely absurd. Observers said it looked like Blake's team had walked into court expecting to steamroll the opposition, only for the judge to effectively say, "You can't be serious," and toss those demands into the legal shredder. Then came the meltdown rumors, with courtroom witnesses describing Blake's tense demeanor, the frantic side discussions, and the clear sense that the wind had been knocked out of her sails. Suddenly, the once glamorous star was no longer the confident figure who breezed through interviews and red carpet events. In the eyes of onlookers, she was a shaken actress desperate to salvage a case that was crumbling on every front. To make things worse, mainstream media wasted no time picking up on those meltdown rumors, painting pictures of a star unraveling under pressure. True or not, that's the narrative that stuck. And in Hollywood, perception often matters more than reality. If there was any doubt that behind-the-scenes machinations occur at the top levels of showbiz, this lawsuit laid it all bare. People had whispered for years that certain Hollywood power couples manipulate narratives, orchestrate blacklists, and align with big agencies to quietly ruin careers. Most of that talk hovered at the conspiracy theory level. Now, courtesy of leaked audio and openly available court documents, it seems those theories might have some teeth. According to multiple insiders, the rift between Baldoni and Blake's camp started small. A disagreement about how certain deals were handled, who was promised what, and possibly a personal falling out that escalated. Over time, tensions grew. Allegations popped up that crucial phone calls were made, big contracts were suddenly no longer on the table, and doors that once swung wide open for Baldoni slammed shut. Who orchestrated it? The leaked Ari Emanuel tape strongly hints at Blake and Ryan behind the scenes, pulling strings. Even if they never directly uttered, "blacklist him," their star power and demands seemed to do the job. Agents who once championed Baldoni stepped back, deals vaporized, and contacts acted like they'd never heard his name. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan soared, their reputations untouched, at least until now. The irony is palpable. For years, Blake has championed charitable causes, embraced narratives of female empowerment, and cultivated the aura of a kind-hearted star. If these tapes and testimonies are to be believed, that wholesome image is at odds with her alleged thirst for control. Same goes for Ryan, known for comedic roles and a witty social media presence, yet conspicuously silent when the details started to shift. Hollywood hypocrisy has never looked so stark. Ever wondered why some celebs rise to superstardom while others, just as talented, sink into oblivion? This saga might hold a clue. With so many prominent players afraid to testify, out of fear of professional retaliation, it's clear that star power extends well beyond red carpets and movie premieres. It reaches into boardrooms, phone calls, and hush-hush meetings, where fortunes can shift with a single nod of approval or disapproval. In the midst of this swirling storm, Justin Baldoni has emerged as a surprising underdog, a role reversal that's generating interest in his corner. People who never gave him a second thought now see him as the David to Blake's Goliath. More and more voices question how he ended up in this predicament if there wasn't something bigger at play. Meanwhile, Blake's circle grows smaller, as cynics ask if she's truly the victim she claims to be, or if she's the hidden hand orchestrating moves from behind a velvet curtain. Where does Ryan Reynolds factor into this? He's been suspiciously quiet, even though leaked audio points to his involvement as well. Is he letting Blake take the heat while he protects his own brand? Or is he simply a supportive husband forced to recede into the shadows? This environment of shifting loyalties and strategic alliances is the heartbeat of Hollywood's power structure. Nothing is permanent, and no one is invincible. One moment, you're the darling of the big studios. The next, you're rumored to be a manipulative puppet master. Those who were once your best friends might slowly withdraw, hoping to sidestep the fallout. The entire scenario reveals a fundamental truth about the entertainment world. Loyalty bows to self-preservation, especially when lawsuits dangle in the air. Rumor has it that the next hearing will be broadcast via live audio, allowing everyday folks to listen to exactly what's said the moment it's said. No selective editing, no hush-hush NDAs, and no industry spin machines controlling the narrative. It's the kind of unfiltered public scrutiny that terrifies celebrities and PR reps alike, especially if you've already shown signs of meltdown in front of a judge. For Blake Lively, this next session could be the final blow that either cements her in the eyes of the public as a star run amok with power, or proves she truly believes she's been wronged. For Justin Baldoni, it's a chance to show the world the sincerity of his claims, though the risk is real that something new might surface. After all, in a legal war, revelations can swing in unpredictable ways. Outside the courtroom, Hollywood is still buzzing about the possibility that this fiasco may open a Pandora's box of other allegations. If blacklisting Baldoni was as easy as a few phone calls, is that tactic being used on other promising talents? Does anyone else hold secret recordings waiting for the perfect moment to drop them? And what about the newly minted CIA-level damage control guru? Will his influence shape the media coverage in ways the public can't immediately see? One thing is certain, the once untouchable aura around Blake and Ryan is showing deep cracks. Her meltdown in court has already become the stuff of internet legend, fueling memes and comedic jabs. The ex-CIA hire has the tabloids spinning spy fantasies, and the revelations about blacklisting keep piling up. If they're as damning as they seem, Blake's carefully crafted brand could be in free fall. Yet Hollywood loves a comeback, if you can manage it. Whether that means a public apology, a surprising out-of-court settlement, or some new twist that makes us question everything we think we know remains to be seen. Maybe more leaked audio is on the horizon, or maybe an insider will break ranks to offer more damning information. In a story this bizarre, nearly anything is possible. So where does that leave us? Standing on the brink of what might be the most revealing Hollywood legal showdown in years, with one star's meltdown laid bare and the entire industry watching. In a world defined by million-dollar smiles, curated Instagram feeds, and high-stakes blockbusters, it's easy to forget that Hollywood is also a hotbed of cutthroat alliances and quiet deals. This lawsuit may go down as a prime example of just how ruthless that environment can be. No matter which side you're on, it's impossible to ignore the startling revelations about blacklisting, the extraordinary measures of hiring an ex-CIA operative, and the embarrassing and very public scolding a federal judge administered. All of it reveals cracks in the shiny veneer that stars like Blake Lively have spent years cultivating. The real question is, what happens once the dust settles? Will Blake retreat from the spotlight, adopting a lower profile until the public forgets? Will Justin Baldoni press forward with more allegations, fueling an even bigger scandal? Will Ryan Reynolds remain quiet? Or will he finally speak up in defense of his wife, possibly risking his own brand? Hollywood can be forgiving, but it can also be unyielding in its quest for the next big spectacle. Sometimes, one fiasco is replaced by another in a matter of months. But if there's one takeaway from this entire ordeal, it's that in the age of leaked audio clips and unstoppable social media coverage, no star is beyond accountability. A meltdown in court isn't just fodder for tabloids, it can reshape entire careers. A single judge's ruling can expose how truly flimsy a grand legal strategy is. And a clandestine recording can unmask the hidden manipulations that have always lurked beneath the glamorous surface. Whether you love Blake Lively or question every move she makes, her current situation is a cautionary tale. It reminds everyone, from aspiring actors to Hollywood's elite, that controlling the narrative doesn't always guarantee victory. Sometimes the narrative finds a way to speak for itself, especially when you've left behind a trail of subpoenas, hush-hush phone calls, and a meltdown or two in front of a skeptical judge. So keep your eyes peeled, because this isn't just one woman's downfall or one man's fight for vindication. It's a window into a world where billion-dollar deals collide with personal vendettas, where illusions of innocence crumble under courtroom lights, and where even the biggest stars can find themselves trapped by the truth. And until the final verdict drops, all we can do is watch and wonder whether this scandal will reshape Hollywood's power dynamics or simply vanish into the next sensational headline.